Alright, hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of AllGenGamers. This is episode 59, and tonight I am joined with my usual co-host, Johnny Millennium, the Happy Console Gamer.
It is awesome to be here.
As well as Jason Heine, the EMU Review. Jason, what's up?
Hi.
Jason's sad because tonight we are not joined with John Gamester.
Hey, what are you talking about? I'm over here.
I'm so lonely over here.
I'm just giving Johnny a blowjob.
Oh, you know what? I'm not, because I have my good friend here, Robot Cat.
Oh, well, that makes things better.
Much better.
No, John just had some things to take care of tonight, but we are joined by the perfect guest for tonight for our topics at hand, and that is Greg, RPG Swagman from the RPG Gibberish podcast. Greg, what's going on?
How you going, guys? It's going good.
Yeah, just so happy to have you on. First of all, I just definitely want to say that.
Oh, man, it's so psyched to be on because I've been a fan of your podcast since day one. So it's surreal, but it's awesome. Okay, I've actually got 3 YouTube channels. The first one is the RPG Swagman channel, where I talk about RPGs, and I show all the RPGs I collect, because very foolishly and very funny, I vow to collect every RPG in existence, where I don't know if I'm going to succeed in this lifetime, but I'm going to try my best, and it's been fun so far. The second channel I just want to quickly mention is Kojima Collector, which I talk about my favorite series of all time that's not an RPG, which is Metal Gear Solid. And all the other games Kojima makes. And of course, lastly, I have the RP Gibberish channel, which is a podcast that I co-host with my good friend Aerodynamish, and I have a lot of fun because I've always wanted to do a podcast for ages, but things didn't pan out. Then Aero just came on one day and said, "Hey, you want to do a podcast today?" I was like, "Oh, hell yeah!" He knows his RPG, so it was a match.
Hey, here's a question. This is a huge one for you, because you're like me. Like I think my favorite games are RPGs. I can really say that. But I like a lot of games, but I think RPGs are definitely up there for me. But what was it that got you into role-playing games? What was that moment? I always like asking this question, especially people who play role-playing games. The first game you played that you said, and I think I know what it is. But
I know what it is. I've heard it on his podcast. It's a cool little story. Yeah.
And basically, we had like 5 video stores that was chock-a-block full of Master System games, and there was hardly any NES there. So basically, every week my dad would always hire a game for us, and around about that time he was getting big into reading fantasy novels and all that. So he basically one day picked up a game called Ultima 4, and he popped it in, and he didn't get off it. He just fell in love, and he said, "Okay, kids, see this little tag that says Adventure Roleplay? I want you to go after any game that has that tag." So it's like, okay. And the one that my brother one day picked out, which would be the game that just, would start everything, would be Phantasy Star. I was the same, and until I went on YouTube one day, I think this was about 3 years ago, and I'm like, I'm going to type in Phantasy Star and see if anyone did a review, and yours was the first video that popped up.
And that was the first video I ever did, too, which is hilarious. Yeah.
I'm just like, cool, someone fucking knows. Excellent.
Meanwhile, Jason's sitting there going, God damn it.
Don't worry.
We were talking about this beforehand, that I remember during the Killer Instinct episode, I was like, Jason, it's all you, for sure. So
I'll just be here beating my meat, no big deal.
Yeah,
well, just to let you know, I'm also a big fan of Killer Instinct, Jason, so nice. I know what it is.
Beautiful.
I just walked in one day and I saw that with one of my all-time favorite Mega Drive games sitting next to it. And I remember getting pissed at my dad for selling it on me, but I found it again, and that is Landstalker.
Oh my God. Don't even... I swear to God, I'm gonna do an episode in this freaking game, because I have to chime in with Landstalker. Is the most I'm gonna say it, is the most difficult game I've ever finished in my entire life. Insane.
What is the reason, Johnny? Is it because the game is just, it doesn't hold your hand? Like, what are the reasons? Because I played this game a long time ago. I just can't remember.
It's a 3/4 overhead game, so it's not 3D. So we have to remember this is on the Genesis. What's infuriating is it's an action platformer, so you jump from kind of platform to platform. But sometimes you cannot understand the depth of how you're going to jump.
Yeah.
Or where. So you'll go, oh, that's where I have to jump. And you'll jump, but it'll be off. And I can't it's the most hardest thing to describe. You have to play it to understand it. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh yeah.
Johnny, I think you're single-handedly responsible for bringing the Ease series the attention it gets now. Now it seems like every single person on YouTube like talks about and picks up Ease. And I think it's because of you. I mean, that's the video that I first discovered from you, and you know, it's basically spawned off into. I think Xseed owes you a little something extra. You know,
I believe that too. I reckon it's not just Johnny's the main, and then you got Splatter Trigger, Uragaru, and ourselves. We're crazy about East, and
I think to be honest with you, I honest to God had a motive for coming on YouTube, and that was to start talking about the games like that we loved, like Phantasy Star and Ease, because nobody was talking about them, and I didn't want them forgotten about, number one, and I just wanted everybody to know about them. I wanted to make them a more mainstream thing, because they should be a mainstream thing. I've always thought that. And there was a time when they kind of were getting that way, and before they got that way, they're kind of like Final Fantasy had surpassed it and moved it out of the way. So I forget this. So yeah, I feel very happy, and I'd like to think that there was a change, and if that's the case, the only people who benefit from that is everybody. We all do. That's a great thing. It's not some egotistical thing. That'd be like, hey, great, we get more Ease games. And the only thing, I'll try to do something where I talk about Phantasy Star, so Sega will bring fucking the PC one, Phantasy Star Online 2, onto the consoles. That's what I want next.
This podcast was created by retro video game collectors and YouTube show hosts Pete Dorr, Happy Console Gamer, Gamester81, and myself, Jason Heine. Make sure to follow along and subscribe to us on iTunes under the podcast section, AllGenGamers. And if you want more information about this podcast, please visit www.allgengamers.com.